Thanks, Ron. Many of you have heard of the Vicar of Baghdad, and if you hadn't, you're going to meet him here in a moment. Andrew White is that man, and last year, some of you will recall that I had a very interesting conversation with him by way of Skype. To have him here personally is really an honor, and so much so that I want to divide the interview into two parts. Today will be part one, tomorrow will be part two. And so I know you're going to love this, but if you're a little frustrated that we had to stop after X number of minutes, tomorrow we'll pick up where we left off, okay? Andrew, welcome.
Great to be with you.
Well, it's a pleasure having you. And it's hard to know where to start. You're an Anglican clergyman, formerly a Baptist and a Pentecostal.
Yes.
You've lived in Jerusalem, as did I, for many years. You've been involved in peacemaking efforts, mainly in the Middle East. You've dealt with the high, the mighty, as well as the lowly. You pastor in the midst of Baghdad, a church that is constantly under threat. You yourself are under threat. You have bodyguards. I mean, it's hard to know where to start with a guy like you.
I was with one of the US congressmen the other day, Frank Wolf, who's very involved in religious freedom. And it was a day I was receiving the First Freedom Prize. And he said to me, he said, "Andrew, you're a rock star." I said, "I'm not. I've never listened to rock in my life." He said, "You've got to stop going to Baghdad, though. You'll get killed." I said, "I will never stop." Yeah. You can't leave the people you love.
No. And how long have you been in Baghdad?
Well, I've been going there for over 13 years, since 1998. Right. But since the war in 2003, I've been there most of the time.
Yeah. And the church, St. George's,
yes.
How long has it been in Baghdad?
It's been there since 1864, which is considered very new compared to most of our churches, which date back to the year 30.
Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of our viewers would be surprised, I think, to realize, although once they're reminded of it, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I knew that," that apart from Israel, Palestine, Iraq, or the area of Iraq, is mentioned more in the Bible than any other area in the world.
Absolutely. Right from creation, the Garden of Eden was between the Euphrates and the Tigris, so in Iraq. Yeah. Throughout the Bible, Abraham, the father of our salvation, was born there. The second exile from Israel happened there. So Ezekiel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, Daniel, all there. And then the miserable evangelist came by submarine to Nineveh.
The miserable evangelist, better known as Jonah.
Yes. That's what you call him. And then Doubting Thomas turned up there on his way to India and converted the people of Nineveh to Christianity because they believed in the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And to this day, Nineveh is Christian. Not a lot of people know that.
No. Now, as it happens today, or earlier today, time zones being what they are, a suicide bomber disguised as a policeman killed 53 and counting, wounded almost 150 people in your town, your city of Baghdad.
But this morning, today, they attacked Nineveh.
Really?
And many people were killed in Nineveh this morning.
Now, I've seen pictures of your ministry in Baghdad, and there was a huge bomb that was exploded outside of your church a few years ago.
Yes.
With scores of people killed and wounded.
145.
145. You also mentioned in one of your 3 books, I've got the Vicar of Baghdad here and I haven't shown it yet. You want to take a look at it, friends. There it is.
There's a lot more.
There's a lot more than that. You've also got another book called Faith Under Fire, and another one called Suffer the Children. I mean, fascinating reading. But in one of these books, I forget which one, you mentioned that one time you secretly baptized 13 people. Within a week,
yes,
11 of them were dead.
Were killed.
Now, are Christians targeted?
Absolutely.
Why? Tell me about
Everybody is targeted in Iraq. It doesn't matter whether you're Shia, Sunni, Yazidi, Mandean, Masihi, Christian. They're all targeted because they are different than those who target you. So the Muslims are divided between the Sunni and the Shia, and they kill each other.
Yeah. Right now, the Sunnis seem to be on a bit of a rampage, right?
They are, because the Shiite Prime Minister, Nouri al-Maliki, has tried to arrest the Vice President, who is the most senior Sunni politician. It's not going down very well.
No, I would think not. Now, Saddam Hussein was Sunni.
He was Sunni.
Was he the horrible monster that the Western press painted him out to be?
No, he was even worse. Being there in his day, I can remember one day when my spy who looked after me said, "Today you've got a really important meeting." I said, "Who with?" He wouldn't tell me. I said, "It's at the hunting club," which was the club of Saddam's sons. And he said, "Yes, at the hunting club." I said, "Is it with the Uday or Qazi?" He said, "Both." I said, "I'm not going then." He started to cry. He said, "If you don't go, they'll kill me and my family." So I went. But that really summed up the horrible nature of the regime.
Now, you met with Uday and Qusay, what their names were?
Yes.
What were they like?
Bad.
Were you surprised?
All of them were evil. They were so evil. Even those who said they were Christian weren't.
Now, you have a bodyguard, right?
No, 35.
Bodyguards, 35.
Yeah.
Somewhere in here there's a picture.
There's a picture of them in here, in this one.
In this one. Okay, let me find it, because when I saw, oh, there it is. Let's take a look at this right here. Right there. Look at that. That's your bodyguard.
Yeah.
Now, is a group of them following you around all of the time, or do they know where you're going and they mark the way?
They're there most of the time with us. They're inside the church compound and outside, all around. Armoured vehicles, armoured vehicles behind us and in front of us.
Now, why would they allocate 35 Iraqi soldiers to look after you? Are you that important as far as they're concerned?
Well, I do have a higher profile in Iraq than anywhere else. And one of the things I also do is direct the High Council of Religious Leaders in Iraq, which are the main Sunni Shia religious leaders. I bring them together, I work with them, I try and deal with the conflicts between Sunni and Shia.
You have a family?
I do.
Tell me about your family.
I have one wife. It's very unusual in Iraq, right. Just one wife.
One wife, yeah.
She is in England, and 2 boys. They're in England. But then I have my family in Iraq. I have 5 Iraqi children I've adopted, and I love them so much. And then I have all the children, and we have about 700 of them. But today is a really important day for me.
Why is that?
Because I'm in Canada, never been here before, but I'm going to see one of the young girls we pray for every day. She is totally disabled, can't talk, can't move. Her father is head of services at the US Embassy in Baghdad, and her name is Emily, and we love her so much, even though we've never seen her. Yesterday I was in Washington and preaching at a big church in Washington, and afterwards one of the choir came up to me and she said, "You're going to see my friend Emily." And I said, "Yes, I am." He said, I went to school with her when she could still walk. And that's wonderful being with her, because the thing is that what we have in common, and I've mentioned her a lot in my sermons, we have a lot of in common with her because we have lost everything. And when you've lost everything, you realize Jesus is all you have left. And he is everything.
You mentioned your wife and children are in the UK. Are they there all of the time?
Yes.
So how often do you get to see them?
I go home about every 6 weeks for 5 days or so. So I do see them.
How does this impact your marriage? Being away
It's
6 weeks at a
very
time?
good. It's very good because I'm not around much. I'm not around enough
so it's
for
easier on
my
your
wife to get fed up. And even my children say to me, if I'm around too long, they say, Daddy, time to go back to work now. I said, I've got work here and start. They say, no, you haven't. It's in Iraq.
How debilitating is your multiple sclerosis in all of this travel and all of this work, and also in all of that heat?
Well, the fact is that I have got treatment for my illness in Iraq, which I couldn't get in England. And it's wonderful that when God calls you to be somewhere, he will always enable you to do what he's called you to go do. And he's called me to be in Iraq. And one day, a friend of mine who was an Iraqi hematologist came up to me and said, Abuna, Father, you're getting worse. I need to make you better. I said, how? Everybody says that. Oh, he said, I've looked it up on Google. And he said, you need stem cell treatment. I said, I know that, but I have big problems because ethically, I don't like how so much of it's done. He said, don't worry, I'm taking it from your own stem cells and I will reintroduce it into your spine and blood. I said, Dr. Majid, have you done this before? He said, no. I said, when are you doing it? He said, tomorrow. He did, and it completely transformed my life.
Really?
And now we have done 3,700 patients, and we have moved the stem cell clinic into our church.
Now, I haven't mentioned yet, you're also a medical doctor. You're an anesthesiologist, or a gas doctor, as you say.
Gas man.
Gas man.
I can put people to sleep with sermons or drugs.
There you go. But you have, along with everything else, great medical responsibilities in Baghdad. We got about a minute. Tell me about that.
Well, we have the largest clinic in Iraq with dentists, doctors, pharmacy, laboratory, hematology unit, x-ray unit, stem cell therapy unit, all in our church. And so this has become a major means of showing the love of Jesus. 95% of our patients aren't Christians. We treat everybody. We show them the love of Jesus.
Andrew White is my guest, the Vicar of Baghdad, and as I told you off the top, we need more of this man, so we're going to continue tomorrow. So we'll pick up where we left off, and I won't say goodbye because we'll talk to you again tomorrow. We'll be back after this.